decide.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for participating in this afternoon's meeting and information session regarding NDOT's proposed changes to the DBE program. I am kicking it off. I am Allison Grand. I am NDOT's Chief Legal Counsel, and I am really pleased to be here today. Before I turn it over to Melissa, I just kind of want to say a few words. First, thank you everybody for taking time out of your day to listen to the changes we are making to this program. I would like to also be very clear. We are requesting of USDOT and Federal Highway a waiver of our DBE program. And the waiver is specifically to remove race and gender as a certification classification and allow us to continue to administer our DBE program by certifying economic disadvantaged businesses only. When I mean this is a waiver, what I'm saying is what we are trying to do is insulate this program to the best we can from any sort of changes that the current judicial landscape is kind of placing on this program. We want to be able to offer our community a DBE program that will align with the current federal and state administration's current goals, and allow us to administer it in a way that judicial changes can happen without us having whiplash on your behalf. So today what we're doing is we're going to kind of talk through what we are proposing, talk through the process. We want to hear comments and we want to hear concerns, and we want to be able to address these comments and concerns and work together to create something that is sustainable for our whole disadvantaged business community. This is a big proposal. We are frankly first in the nation to come up with this idea. So on behalf of my staff and behalf of NDOT as a whole, thank you all again for being here and listening and having an open mind. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Melissa to walk through what the actual changes are.
Thanks, Allison. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa Murphy. I'm part of the DBE Supportive Services team here at NDOT. And today I'll be walking you through NDOT's request for waiver, so we can provide clarity on what the waiver is, why we're pursuing it, and how it may affect current and future DBEs. So our focus, as Allison mentioned, is to create a sustainable, economically driven program that remains in line with federal requirements and state level goals. Okay, so we're going to start with the purpose of the waiver. So we're seeking a waiver from certain federal requirements outlined in federal regulations. Specifically, we are requesting permission to implement a DBE program that is race and gender neutral. So our primary goal is to base the program solely on economic disadvantage, still ensuring that small businesses that need support the most can access opportunities. So it's important to understand that the current DBE program is still intact. So there's no changes that have been made at this time. So it's in full effect. So this waiver, after these meetings this week, there's a 30-day comment period, which starts today. After that, NDOT will review all the comments, make a decision, and then whether or not the waiver will be issued or requested. And then that will need to be reviewed by the U.S. Department of Transportation. And so no action will be taken until we receive official approval or further guidance. And as always, we are committed to keeping our DBE community informed and engaged throughout the process. So why are we filling a waiver? Allison addressed some of that in her comments. First, we want to ensure the program aligns with the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Second, it aligns with the governor's agenda. His administration supports entrepreneurship and economic growth, and this waiver supports those values. Third, it reflects national direction. So the upcoming 2026 Surface Transportation Reauthorization encourages innovation and efficiency in project delivery, and this waiver supports both. And finally, we want to place a stronger emphasis on economics. We believe a program based on economic disadvantage is more sustainable and more consistent with federal and small business standards. So if the waiver is approved, new applicants would need to meet the federal definition of an economically disadvantaged small business under SBA and federal regulations. Current DBEs would not be removed. They would simply reaffirm their eligibility during their regular update. And instead of goals based on race, ethnicity, or gender, NDOT would set overall goals for economically disadvantaged businesses. So the proposed goal is 9.94% for construction projects through the end of September of 2028. And we will offer supportive services, continue to offer supportive services, as well as expand on the supportive services that we currently offer. And so I'm going to ask Zola from the supportive services team to come up and talk a little bit about what that would look like.
Thanks, Melissa. Hi, everyone. This is Zola Lamoth with Supportive Services. So as Melissa mentioned, we are trying to expand our supportive service offerings, and this is as a result from our town halls last winter. And so some of the things that we will be offering again are a DBE forum. If you remember, we had this about 2 years ago, and that's because after our town halls, we learned that the DBEs would like more opportunities to network with our prime contractors. So that'll be a great way to go about that. Our DBE community also said that they would like more bidding education. So we are planning on having a DBE Academy. This will be online and in-person learning opportunities for DBEs to learn about different topics in the industry like bidding. It was also said that access to a capital was a major challenge. So we will bring back our pre-qual reimbursement program. If you remember, we had this as a pilot program last year and it was very successful. So we're excited to bring that back. This year, we will be offering $5,000 reimbursements for pre-qualification, and we'll also be adding a hauler reimbursement for $2,500. And then lastly, we're also exploring the opportunity to create a DBE advisory committee. So this will allow us to have continued conversations with the DBE committee, and they can have impact on our programming.
So in conclusion, this waiver request represents NDOT's commitment to continuing running a legally sound and economically focused DBE program. So we believe this tailored approach will meet the intent of the federal program, ensuring access and opportunity for businesses that face economic disadvantage. Okay, that concludes our presentation. So we're now at the public comments session. So this is, there are a few ways you can actually make your voice heard today, because we do want to hear from you. We value what your input and what you have to say. So there is a QR code that you can scan to access the comment form. On Teams, you can also put your comments in the chat. And if you prefer to write, if you're here in person, you prefer to write, there's just some paper forms over there on the table. And if you get home or it's a week later, like I said, the 30-day comment period starts today. So in a week or two, if you think of something, please feel free to reach out to our incredible customer service team. The comments will not go ignored. They will log them, they will send them to us, and they will hound us until we give a response. So they're incredible. And that's another way for you to reach out should you have any questions or comments to share. If you're here today and you would like to make a comment or have a question, we will take the questions. We are having someone record them. And if we cannot answer it today, we will take all the questions and provide answers to what we can and make that available to you at a future date so that you can have that information. Yes.
Is there a reason why we couldn't start the DBE committee now?
You're talking about from supportive services.
Yes.
You want to address that, or I don't?
I think we'll just have to double check and make sure that we're checking the boxes and see if there's any formal rule that we have to go along to create that. But so far, the team is pretty supportive of it.
I would like to let Stephanie. President of DBE's America. Be our spokesperson. You get that on.
Oh, before you talk, can you give us your name And spell your name, so for the
Mine
recorder,
is
please.
Pamela Albertson, Queen Bee Construction.
Thank you. Yes, before you make a comment, please state your name and spell it for recording. Okay.
Questions? Pamela Albertson from Queen Bee Construction. Right now, the DBEs that are current DBEs, we fall back into this program, but what are you guys considering socioeconomically disadvantaged?
It's my understanding that the current, well, yeah, it's the same, so it's not gonna change, right now. So it's as is, so I'm not aware of any changes, at this time, but I don't know that they will.
And then, okay, 8-8, and then how about, whose brainchild was the gender race neutral idea for this waiver? Who, was it Ron that came up with this or someone inside the office?
No, it's
I'm not
not
sure.
a federal regulation. So 49 CFR 26.15 allows any certifier to request a waiver. Federal regulation itself allows for that.
But did somebody here in NDOT think, okay, let's do this, this would be a great idea? I mean, how did it just come up? You're the first state, and you're the first state to do this.
We just reviewed the. So our disparity study is due this year.
Uh-huh.
We're in our cycle and
I can speak to the kind of the administration perspective.
Their names as well.
Oh. My name?
Sure.
Sorry, this is Allison Grant, Tweak Legal at NDOT. One of Governor Braun's kind of an unofficial agenda item, he really has been encouraging agencies to find bold, innovative solutions. So as Libby's team and the Business Opportunity Initiative Group has kind of analyzed their program, we thought this would align with Governor Braun's agenda of being first in the nation, because it supports economic growth, falls in line with several executive orders that are tangential to disadvantaged business. And it is, we have a path to a waiver versus if you would look at like Department of Administration's BB program, that program does not have a waiver path. That is what it is statutorily. So this is a program that is just ripe and available for a big, bold change.
My name's Stephanie Duncan. I'm Crossroads Highway Products, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that are going to mistake this for taking away the whole purpose of the program to begin with. That was to, bring minorities and women to the table. They're going to oppose it because if they're going to feel that. And how are you going to get around? How are you going to ease their mind that this is not going to, that it's not just going to bring in a bunch of companies like the ones that have filed a lawsuit that are, have spinoff companies that wife can go start a company or nephew can go start a company and it's still managed and owned by that big company. And how are we going to keep those companies not legitimately small businesses that on paper will be?
so there are a couple different ways. One is, if you're based in Indiana, we come in person and do an on-site, that would not stop. Whoever is the owner of the company would still have to demonstrate all of the additional investment, all the things that you had to demonstrate, you became a DBE. Also, they would submit the same documentation regarding investment and business size that you submitted in business taxes, your taxes, all those things that show meet that threshold, because the threshold is threefold. One, you have to have a personal net worth, dollar amount. Two, whatever NICS codes, North American Industry Classification codes you're assigned, there's a dollar amount associated with that classification code. And then there's an overall dollar amount for this program set by the SBA that now is adjusted by inflation annually. All three of those criteria would be met along with the original.
at the end of these 3 years, in 2028, when you go back and do a new disparity study, if this program is then filled with, I mean, a lot more businesses, because there's so many small businesses out there. Those goals, that 9.9% goal will be raised. Will, I mean, it will, right? I mean,
It may,
because
that's
the
why-
more DBEs you have, the higher the goal has to be about opportunity. And if you do the disparity study and you find that women and minorities aren't getting jobs, that it's just the new incoming, a white male DBE, will that be addressed?
So if the waiver is accepted, the disparity study that takes in the next 3-year cycle will specifically at the economic, not at contracts with race conscious measures. If we be looking at small businesses as a whole, how many small businesses are ready, willing, and able to federally?
Yeah, so it wouldn't even be an issue anymore.
We did put language in our, though, that if for some reason administration would find that race and gender legally sound measures, those measures as part of.
Thank you.
Palmalolo, metric environmental, the economic disadvantaged business, are we specifically talking about SBA 8A? Just SBA.
It's the FDA float on provisions that and CFR 20.
Now, the 8A program is where you basically have to, that you're at a disadvantage. That, not just a small business. You have to prove that, location,
So is it not looking just for an SBA certification?
Technically, it's a waiver in the disadvantaged business enterprise program. Still be a disadvantaged business enterprise program under 49 CFR 20. All of the other components of 26 would stand, commercial useful function, business efforts, all of those things.
Very good, thank you.
Are there any other comments in here in this room? Okay. Oh, I think then wrap up. There's no other.
We're happy to stay after and talk, by the way.
Absolutely.
That's what
Yeah.
happened mornings. Happy to stay and answer.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, everyone on Teams who participated. The meeting is closing, but please feel free to make comments using the QR code or even the chat as long as it's open, so.